Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Air Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I am here to talk about the theaters, theater owners, or NATO, which is the National Theater, I think it's like the National Theater Theater Owner Association, some weird word like that. They are pissed at Disney. They're pissed at Disney because of the, so right now we're in a weird time. Theaters are coming back. Vaccines are going out. Most of America we're making a comeback. Most places are opening up fully. Most places don't even need you to require you to wear a mask anymore. Where I worked at Home Depot, they don't even require us to wipe down carts anymore. Like most places we're starting to return to some bit of normalcy. Last couple times I've been to the movie theater, they don't have the quarantined theaters anymore. Like everything's opened up again. So we're getting back to some type of normality. And Black Widow came out not last week, the week before last. A couple weeks ago now, like 2 weeks ago now. And when it came out, it made over 80 million. Made about 82, 83 million dollars. Not as much as some people thought it might make, but but above Disney's X75 expectations and right in the middle of the low end expectations, which is the low end expectations was like 85 and it made about 83, and Disney's expectation was 75 and it made 83. So, it made what they thought it was gonna make. But there was a side note last week that no one was really talking about, that people were talking about, which was that Disney had announced that the movie had made over $60 million on Disney Plus, which was $60 million straight into Disney's pocket. Because some people don't know this, but when a movie, the number that a movie makes at the box office isn't the total number that the actual studio and people who made it get back. Particularly, most studios have it like almost a 50-50, like a 55 split. Disney gets 65% of the box office take on their films, and the theater gets the rest. Just to give you an idea of how much, So even out, because Black Widow made over $200 million this opening weekend, but Disney only keeps about 60% of it. But the $60 million that was made on Disney Plus, Disney keeps 100% of it. So in a way, they actually made more money on Disney Plus than they did at the box office, because they have to keep all that money instead of sharing it with the theater chains. Now, obviously, this has been a strategical move by Bob Number 2, Chapek, in particular, to find out to find out where the money lies, because. The thing is, and because a lot of people are comparing, first of all, Black Widow had a massive dip last weekend. Had a massive dip, over a 70% dip. It still made about $27 million, but it's a massive dip from the 80 that it had, especially when it's not really much out. Though I would argue that Space Jam is a big enough movie to take something away from Black Widow. I think Space Jam is big enough to take some attention away from Black Widow, especially since both of those movies are targeted towards families. So I do think Space Jam hurt Black Widow a little bit, even though I haven't seen it yet, but I will see it and review it. Even though I'm like, ew, I heard it was pretty bad, but the real thing, but a lot of people are comparing it to the HBO Max thing, where HBO Max came out and was just like, all our films are day and date in theaters. Like, whoa, for the rest of the year. And before the year even started, just all our films for the rest of the year, day and date. Because the HBO Max thing was a desperate attempt to boost their subscription, their failing subscriber base, still lagging behind everyone else greatly. And it was a desperate attempt to somehow improve that, and it didn't work. So that's why fucking AT&T just sold HBO off to Discovery, because it didn't work. But while the Disney thing has been more of a thoughtful thing, you gotta understand, Disney held off putting movies like Black Widow and Cruella in particular, putting those on Disney Plus for a very long time. I think you guys remember me making so many videos talking about Black Widow will not be moved to Disney Plus, and I made so many videos talking about that during when in the middle of COVID, in the middle of all the lockdowns and stuff, I was talking about it. I talked about it all the time, that I thought it was a mistake to move Black Widow to Disney Plus, and I said it. I was pirating, and and that it would hurt the box office, and that it'd be short-sighted. And in the end, that's kind of what happened to Black Widow. That's why I made such a huge dip. Pirating went up on Black Widow. It's the most pirated MC. It's one of the most pirated MC movies ever because it's just straight on Disney Plus. It's not about safety. And that's the thing. It's not about safety. Moving it to Disney, but if you're ever gonna move it to Disney Plus, it's just about making it getting subscribers and whatnot, which I don't think Disney needs, because Disney's like the third most subscribed streaming service in the world, and it's only been around for about less than 2 years. And they're right behind, they're right there, Technically, they would be number 2 if not for the fact that 90% of Amazon Prime's subscription base are just people who have Amazon Prime to get things delivered. So they really would be number 2. So they don't really need any help, getting subscribers. And they got Mandalorian, they got the Marvel show, so they don't really need help getting any subscribers. But for me, I suppose this is more of a test to see to see what works, to see what kind of movies they could put on Disney Plus, to see what kind of movies, to see the kind of money they can make. And I don't know. Maybe Black Widow was now after I done seen the movie and whatnot. Although I enjoyed it and I'm glad that I could see it in the theater, and it really did justice in a movie theater. The actual story is pretty small, so that could have been told on a smaller screen. Maybe with because Black Widow, I think, is a movie that maybe could have benefited from being a small miniseries, maybe a 4-part miniseries, not as big as some of the other MCU things. I don't think it was that much story there that it needed to be a long thing, but it could have been a 3-part or a 4-part miniseries. Though I don't know if you can stretch that budget out that far. But for me, I know like I said, some of the people are frustrated. Some of the theater owners, because the theater owners are coming at Disney like, you guys fucked up. You see how terrible there are crazy headlines this morning when I woke up. Space Jam beats Disney Black Widow, even though it beat Black Widow on its second weekend in the middle of COVID, and Black Widow is also a day and date movie. So, but and it's clear and obvious why Black Widow fell. It's because it's on Disney Plus as well. And for me, it was a good and the bad. Because on one hand, you got $60 million straight to the bank account. On the other hand, you crippled the movie. You've crippled other incomes on multiple levels. And I think and to be fair to Disney, there's only one other movie coming out that's going straight to Disney. That's going going day and date, and that's Jungle Cruise. Because Shang-Chi and Eternals, those movies are still being pushed as theaters only. So I think that Disney wanted to just see what could happen, see how Black Widow will do. They'll see how Jungle Cruise will do, and if those movies did fantastic and Black Widow just kept making tons of money for them on Disney Plus, I think they would have shifted. But since the Black Widow movie has pretty much shown to be, I'd say, mixed results in terms of putting it on Disney Plus and having it in theaters at the same time, because that just it has to be, because if you had just put it in theaters, Black Widow would have cleared $100 million. It would have easily made over $100 million. Maybe it would have made over $120 million. And you got a good profit off of it, but technically you made more money on the opening weekend by putting it on both. Sorry, there's a plane going overhead, so you might hear that. Technically, or is that a helicopter? I think that's a helicopter. Anyway, either way, technically, they made more money by putting it out on both, because they get to keep 60% of the box office revenue, and they get this 60 unfiltered money right to the wallet. But you hurt the theatrical thing, and what's been brought up, which is something I never even thought of, is that you hurt the Blu-ray and digital sales. Because if people just get Disney Plus and just get it on there, then there's no reason to go buy the Blu-rays or the DVDs or anything like that, because it's on Disney Plus. There's no need to buy it. I mean, granted, that's always been the case since streaming services began, but it's even more so the case when it's a day and date thing. So the first time you see the movie, you buy it on Disney Plus, you don't gotta see it again. Like most of the time, it's you go see the movie. Like they kind of fucked up their own flow. Like they kind of fucked up the flow. Disney did. But granted, like I said, to me, the only reason I don't think it's that big of a deal is because it's just them testing the waters. Because clearly, if it was them going, this is our strategy, they would have already announced Shang-Chi and Eternals and other movies would be going. Hell, they got a new movie, Pixar movie coming out that has announced for only theaters. So clearly, this is just them seeing how things are gonna work. But they did kind of fuck up their whole strategy because in reality, this is how you make money. You make money at the theaters, then you make it on Blu-ray, then you make it on digital, then you make it on physical, then you make it licensing. Damn. A lot of people going by today. Then you make it on licensing. But since they made it day and date and the digital copy is on Disney Plus, you handicap the amount of money you can make at the theaters. You handicap the amount of money you're gonna make on Disney Plus because the people who are gonna buy it only have to buy it once. Instead of like a movie where instead of it coming out just in theaters and you have to, if you want to see it again, you gotta go back to the theater to go see it again. And then once you want to see it, you gotta go buy the DVD because you gotta wait a couple months later, you gotta buy the DVD or the Blu-ray. And then a couple months later, then it's on a streaming service. But like the wait, if you have to wait for the wait that it takes for you to wait for something to be on a streaming service is like 6 or 8 months. I mean, you're gonna pay for it again. If it's a movie you enjoyed, you're gonna go see it again or you're gonna pay for it immediately when it comes out. But making it day and date, you cut half of that out. So the experiment has gone wrong. Like, I will openly admit this. Disney, I think, maybe made a mistake. But at the same time, like I said, you can only know it unless you do it. You can only know it's a mistake unless you do it. Clearly, it's not the quality of the movie. The movie has an 80%, has an 8 cinema score, has a 92% audience score. The movie has quality. The movie has, you know, the stakes. But like it has the pedigree, but it's just you can't do that, and it's sad to see a movie like this. I always thought Disney should go in or out, that they can't go either or, because I guarantee you this: if they had just made a Disney Plus if they had just made it something that you could only get on Disney Plus, it probably would have made over $100 million, made them over $100 million straight to the bank account on Disney Plus. But they tried to have their cake and eat it too. They tried to be both ways, and it failed for them the same way it's been failing for HBO Max. So, you know, hopefully, Shang-Chi comes out in November, I believe, and just blows up the box office, and you know we can kind of get back to the way things used to be. Because, like I said, this experiment is, it didn't really work out the way they had hoped it was going to work out. Anyways, thank you guys for coming to Come Get Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe. And how did you see Black Widow? Did you go to the movies to see it, or did you pay $30 on Disney Plus? Thank you guys again. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.